Guys, welcome to today's video. In today's video, we'll look at a scenario in which the East and the West go to war. I moved this slightly over because, well, the West would have no chance if it was against Ukraine, Russia, China, India, Japan, South Korea, Australia. Okay, this seems bad. Saudi Arabia, Turkey, Iran, Poland, Egypt. Okay, maybe they are in a bit of trouble. But they got the USA, Canada's chill. Brazil, Spain, France, Germany, Britain, Sweden, Norway, Italy, Algeria, Morocco. But I'll give them the first attack because, well, we want to give the first attack advantage to them. I'm going to do it just because, well, they're the strong side, so, like, we kind of need to kind of do stuff to help them. So, yeah. Advances won't be that slow. That's too slow. Maybe this slow is good enough. With them rapidly advancing into Africa, taking the resources as they move. And I'm going to assume the blue team has no mobilization done, and the red team is completely mobilized, just to give the advantage to them. And plus, they are the attackers, so this is like Operation Barbarossa 2.0, except on a massive scale. With Germany all excited, oh, Finland is going to fall. Finland can fall, I guess. Okay, realism was just thrown out the door as Finland has fallen. With mobilization efforts going very bad in the Balkans, leading to a massive advance down the coast. With them starting to get mobilized, but this is not enough mobilization to push them back. Poland having fallen, and they're in Ukraine actually successful, even though, I guess because they're fighting their own weapons. With them trying to take as many, trying to get Russia and Turkey out as fast as possible. With Turkey on the brink of collapse, but we're going to pretend every nation fights till the last moment. With St. Petersburg having fallen, looks like they're getting close to Moscow. They managed to reach the Caspian Sea. They're on the edge of Moscow at this point, when the Russians launch a counter-offensive, which they connect up to the Caucasus nations, and they start sending resources there to hold the front. That's a big front to hold. But Africa, they still haven't been successful in pushing them back. You would think Egypt would be ready. With Egypt now fully mobilized, Saudi and Iran, India, and China's troops are starting to arrive at the front. India's going into the African front. China's sending their troops to the European front, as that's the plan of the blue team. With Australian troops almost here, but they're in Iran at this point. And we're going to say, since there's so much long of a front line, they're not going to be able to make naval landings, which would switch the tide of the war. They're trying to hold back in Africa. With some nations, like Angola, if they get cut off again, this could be the end of them, which it becomes known as the fall of Namibia and Angola, which is very much a humiliating defeat for the West. They've got some of their objectives done, like take Istanbul, but they didn't get to Ankara or Moscow. With them thinking they can just cakewalk over in Africa. I'm taking a big chunk of Algeria, but not enough forces lead to a fall of this front, with a fall of the south front. Though an eventual stalemate is created, this stalemate doesn't favor either side. At this point, nobody's side is favored. If Russia's counter-offensive getting stronger as more of China's forces arrive. And China's sending some troops to Turkey to push back, to alleviate Western pressure on the country. But the West is trying to hold back Russia, who moves into Finland and is welcome. Same Russia, different people. And yeah, we're moving into Western Europe. It looks like the fall of the West. But then winter ends. Oh, Russia's like, oh, didn't expect that one. With Finland at this point in eastern Ukraine and western Russia probably completely destroyed. But who even cares at this point? Because everything gets destroyed in war. There's nothing that's still standing after all. There is, but anyways. With them slowly pushing back this time, a stalemate is achieved in northern Finland and southern Balkans, and yeah, stabilizes. But the West doesn't have the ability to move any troops to make landings. So the African front starts falling in the south because a lot of Indian troops and Australian troops and Saudi troops have arrived, leading to the loss of Nigeria. And with them attempting a counteroffensive, minor land, huge casualties. With Algeria and Morocco at this point trying to hold the complete front, that's going to go so well. With them having to pull back a few troops. But breakthrough happens in Turkey with the fall of Turkey and an invasion of the Caucasus, which splits off the Middle East. This leads to one problem. They need to figure that out, so a lot of troops are sent there. That's strong and the forces which aren't easily being pushed back. Which leads to pushes into this area. Leads to a domino. Egypt collapses, and Saudi's in a bit of trouble. With all the Arabian Peninsula in trouble at this point, you may say, oh, the war's going good for them now. But honestly, is it? Like, they didn't achieve their goals was to push all the way to India's capital, Delhi, and take India out of the war. Let's see, can they get there? With them making another offensive into southern Russia, with this one going successful. But that's because they were moving troops to push back them out of the Middle East and retake the Suez Canal. With the West trying to hold this off, the Western world trying to hold it off. Not exactly the West, but geographically the West. Geographically the West on a 2D map, not a globe. Yeah, that sounds even harder. Even though the world is a globe, so that's pretty foolish. But anyways, the Mercator projection is good enough, I think, even though it's really bad. With African forces managing to push back. Egyptian forces are still fighting, they're just not fighting in the country of Egypt. They're probably in this front down here or over here. With the Red Sea partially under their control, with Russia making another counteroffensive, this time yielding even better results, which leads to it's likely Turkey could be cut off, which it does, so they make sure they don't fall over here, which they lose a big chunk of Turkey and they're pushed down in the Middle East. With them holding about here, but then they fall back all the way to just past the Suez Canal. Which allows stalemate there. But Russia does an offensive in the north at this point, because they're still really on the counter-offensive in Europe, and they still were. Now, they managed to move into Sweden and Norway and capitulate the countries, because I forgot I had it on giant mode. Even move into Denmark. But Germany doesn't like this, guys. No, they don't. Well, they do a counter-offensive, which is pretty stupid because that front was already stalemated, which would be pretty good if they kept it like that. And this was a big mistake, as Russia was hoping they would do that and make a counter-offensive. What the soldiers in the east had to pull out of the east. They were happy Germany done this. So Germany moves troops to protect its capital at all costs, which leads to the fall of the northern front. And the southern front doesn't have enough Germans to hold it. With Italy in a bit of trouble. With this dominoing into, well, yeah, this front. Let's see it with a better size color. Yeah, that color. As you can see, they started moving into the south, in the southern parts, as the northern parts are stronger, right? Nigeria is fairly strong, but couldn't keep up with this many forces. With India sending most of their forces down here, India sends it to this front, China sent it to the northern front. With Europeans protecting this front, and America's protecting this front. And yeah, the fall of Algiers. With a few countries falling. With Spain sending as many troops as they can to hold Morocco's front from collapsing. But eventually it does, and it moves right into Iberia. It's the north having troubles, with Berlin now falling. With the Russians going to Berlin, just staying there. With the Russians making a naval landing in Iceland, and moving up here, and landing in Ireland. Taking out the island, and they build a big naval blockade. Make it hard to stop them, they invade Greenland wherever I live. And for all terms and purposes, well, Greenland has fallen. Although still fighting in the far north. With France being invaded from the south, the Rhine River fortifications fall. And well, Britain's in a bit of trouble. And I know it might seem like it's going fast, but like this is going to be a long video. So yeah. With them landing in Newfoundland and then going into Labrador. Followed by this, they go into Quebec. Why not? Supplies. Then they go into Cape Breton. Then they move into, well, yeah, Nova Scotia, New Brunswick, Quebec, and Maine, Vermont, whatever. Doesn't matter. As they take Ottawa. Oh. If I'm deciding to only focus on the south of Canada. That's too slow. You have a good size. 25 is good. With them only slowly advancing into America. Because that's the only front they have open now. With American and Canadian forces along with Brazil, Mexico's, and Everett's forces. Push them back. And people even rise up and help this. There's nobody liking oppression. But Russia, as China, Australia, Japan, South Korea, to all plan a naval invasion of Alaska. Which goes good. And they even quickly get to Anchorage, largest city in Alaska. They're nowhere near Toronto, largest city in Canada. But anyways. If North America falls, South America knows there's nothing they will be able to do. With them managing to seize the Panama Canal, and they push up to secure it. And they even start their first invasion of South America. I don't know how the treaty would work, so maybe we just don't have the treaty. And with the West becoming East, geographically. This is actually a fun video, honestly. With them moving into British Columbia, Canada, and Yukon. But anyways, I think Canada isn't winning this. Although Canada does have the Arctic, maybe if they populate it. Oh wait, it's too late to populate rapidly. But it's probably been like 20 years, honestly. Modern conflict probably isn't the fastest. With them invading just north of where Canada is, Canada decides to move all of its military personnel down here to protect its major cities. Because most Canadians live very close to America. Literally, they all live here. Except the best ones. Nothing was said there. Just saying nothing, honestly. And yeah. With them moving into America, this is going to take forever. Even if you had the strength, like, then you have, like, literally fight every American. Literally. Is that even possible to beat America at this point? Probably not. Just take the. As Japan lands into Japan, like California, and they change it to Japanfornia. That does not even make sense, what I'm saying. But anyways, Mexico has fallen. And America's angry. Well, yeah. Their strength is something to talk about. Their strength is not its military, but its people. I think every American would probably stand up. That seems American like. I don't even know what American is like. But, anyways, with the South refusing to surrender and reforming the CSA, the world knows they need to do something. And with them deciding, why don't we land in, like, here? It's, like, a good idea to land where it's so cold we can't even move. So they rush up the coast. And by rush, I mean slowly go up. There's no way Brazil is trying to hold two fronts. It's starting to turn into three fronts. It's Argentina falling. Paraguay falling. Landings happening across Brazil, because I know Brazil is housed with everyone's soldiers from the red team. That all of them escaped here. Literally. With Brazil having nothing but itself at this point. Bolivia, but what's Bolivia going to do? Give them some lithium? Honestly. Literally. What's that going to do for the military? With Brazil saying that we're the best country, last one to stand, and will be the savior of the West one day. And they say they will bring the Western world back from under tyranny. And that's all for today's video. Please like and subscribe. Well, I don't know what they would do for a treaty, except I think now the world can live in peace. Look, see, now everyone can be friends. Let's color them all orange, because friends are orange. Or really, probably pink. So let's color in every friend in the world. Everyone becomes friends and joins the Pink League. And everybody starts being kind to each other. And also, that was after probably 1 billion deaths. So, yeah, sad. And probably a few countries being destroyed. Literally. That's all for today's video. Please like, subscribe, and comment. Wild Mapper out, but not until they subscribe. Bye, guys!